Good evening, Fort Worth. How you doing? next year. That's right. This is our second cruise, and all of the proceeds go to charity. So you can sign up for cabins as of next week. But more pressing matters, we now have our annual I Saw Three Ships race, and our contestants have entered the stage. And ship number 1 is Taylor, and number 2 is Annika, and number 3 is Madeline. Now, hold up your hands with a 1, 2, or 3, and call out the number of the ship you think will win. Ooh. Oh, cheer as loud as you can, here they go! loving, the smiles, all the energy, the love that we feel, down to these very festive outfits I'm seeing throughout. I just have to say, this second row, turn around and show your glorious outfits. We've got a family of wreaths in the audience. I love it. Every time they like something that we do, they all go, woohoo! I feel like I'm at a sporting event. It's like, oh, she did a pirouette. So exciting. Anyways, love it. Thank you. Okay, I just have a question. Because at meet and greet, I realized there was quite a few people who were saying this was their first ever Lindsey concert. So I just need to ask, how many of you, is this your first time at a Lindsey Stirling show? Welcome. This suddenly just became like a first date. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's a first date. I've been on a lot of them. Okay, anyways. Well then I better introduce you to some of the members of my team. Everyone please give a big round of applause for my bandmates. We've got Ryan Riveros on keys and guitar. And over here on the drums, everybody put your hands together for Drew Steen. Now, these guys, they are not new to the camp. Ryan and I have now been touring together for 4 years, which is, honestly, that's quite a long time. You get to know people within like a week of being on the road. You get real close real fast. So 4 years is like, we are family. We are relatives at this point. But nothing can compare to this guy. Drew and I have been touring together for 14 years. I literally count my blessings all the time that Drew is in my life. He has changed my life for the better. And you know, it's crazy how life brings people to you that you need at the time you need them. And when I did my very first show 14 years ago, and I hired my very first band, I didn't know where to go or who to ask, so I asked a friend who asked a friend who knew this drummer named Drew Steen. So Drew has been playing with me since my first ever show. I'm so blessed, so blessed. Thank you guys. Okay, so at this point I have 2 Christmas albums. This is now our 8th Christmas tour. And so, you know, I like to think that I've become a bit of an expert on what it takes to make something feel, look, and most importantly, sound like Christmas. You know, and I will say it's not rocket science. There's quite a formula for it, a recipe, if you will. And so I'm going to share some of those ingredients with you. First of all, if you want something to sound Christmassy, you can automatically do so by adding sleigh bells. Secondly, if you're going for more of a whimsical approach, you must have a chime. Third, if you're going for more of that mysterious minor key Christmas song, you've got to have that little glockenspiel sample. And lastly, if you're going for more the hymn, spiritual Christmas arrangement, you have to have a choir. Nice. Someone sang along. They went, oh, that was great. Okay, so now you know some of the key elements to making a Christmas song. You know, and with this knowledge, we decided we would take on a little challenge, and my band and I thought to ourselves, I bet we could make anything sound like Christmas. So, we have arranged a very popular pop medley, I would say, very popular, a pop medley full of well-known songs. There we go, that's what I'm trying to say. And we have dressed them up in a little Christmas dress. And so we're gonna turn this into a game though, because you guys can turn your flashlights on your phones, set them on your laps, and as we play through this medley, as soon as you recognize the song we're playing, hold your light up in the air. And then as we move on to the next song, I will motion for you to put your lights down, and then everyone has a fresh chance to guess the next song. All right? Okay, Fort Worth, let's see what you got. worth. They were good. Almost too good. I'm just kidding. I am always amazed when people get the middle, like, Dance the Night Away. I'm always really impressed. Oh, Drew's calling foul play. You guys knew what it was. Okay, well, Drew's feeling spicy today, okay. Okay, so this next song, I will say is, it's one of my favorite Christmas songs we get to perform. It was one of the first Christmas originals that I wrote. However, when I wrote it, I had no intention of ever singing this song. But as the album deadline was getting closer, we were looking for the right singer and we just couldn't find the right feature for the track. And finally the deadline had arrived and, my managers were like, we're just gonna have to cut it from the album. And I was like, well, I could sing it. And I kid you not, the response was no. Granted, I'd never sung on a song before, but I was just shocked that they would rather put it in the trash than have my voice on it. And I was like, no, really, I think I can handle this, I can do it. We, though, were in tour at the time, and we were in South America, and, so we looked up some studios and ended up finding a studio in Santiago, Chile. And, I showed up at the studio to record these lyrics, and it was a man's house in the middle of the city. And yeah, I ended up recording the lyrics to Warmer in the Winter in a man's basement in Santiago, Chile. The funny thing is, I feel like in the music industry, from the outside, movies and TV, they make it look so sparkly all the time. Like we're always in these dark lit, cool studios and, men in suits and sunglasses stand outside the door. But I think you'd be shocked how many times things you listen to have been recorded in hotel rooms. Like we've literally hung sheets in hotel rooms over windows to try to create like little vocal booths and such, because sometimes you just have to make it work. And oftentimes, at least that's our story, how we've done a lot of our things, and this song is one of those. So I hope you enjoy Warmer in the Winter. PJs with fuzzy socks, ugly sweaters with polka dots, warm cookies had my fill. I might have gained a pound or two to help with the chill. Hot cocoa, piping hot, snuggled up in our favorite spot. Whisper things we shouldn't say, and I don't plan on leaving here till Christmas Day. Windows frosted, summer's sleeping, but I don't really mind. I know that it's cold outside, the world is bundled up in white. I just need you by my side, 'cause I'm warmer in the winter with you. Last year I was on my own, hibernating in my empty home. Santa didn't even help. I left a plate of cookies, but I ate them myself. Oh, this year feels so brand new. Tired living round me and you. Saint Nick is checking twice. He's trying to figure out if we are naughty or nice. Roads are closed, snow is falling, but I don't really mind. I know that it's cold outside, the world is bundled sister is toasty for two. Oh, oh, I'm over in the winter with you. Thank you so much. Give it up one more time for my bandmates, Drew and Ryan. Sisters, there were never such devoted sisters. Never had to have a chaperone, no sir. I'm here to keep my eye on her, caring, sharing every little thing that we are wearing. When a certain gentleman arrived from Rome, she wore the dress and I stayed home. Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister, and Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man. Sisters, sisters, sister, don't come between me and my man. Thank you so much, Fort Worth. You know, I genuinely love the Christmas holiday so much, and I think one of my favorite things about it is that there are so many different sides to Christmas. There's, you know, the flavors and the smells that make us feel like the holidays. There's the different color palettes. There's the family traditions. There's the classic films, am I right? You guys know that was a reference to a Christmas movie, right? That was not enthusiastic enough. Okay, you all have an assignment. You must go home and watch White Christmas. It is a classic. It is my favorite Christmas movie for all the crazy musical reasons. Anyways, so good. But also, another part of Christmas that resonates with so many people is that there's a very spiritual and religious side that ties people together. And, you know, this all comes from the story of Jesus Christ, which is where the holiday came from. And, you know, several years ago, we had the opportunity to do a show in Tel Aviv. And so a bunch of us went into the city of Jerusalem and we got to walk the roads where Jesus walked. And there's one moment out of the entire day, there's one thing that will always resonate with me as like just an aha, like totally spiritual light bulb moment, and I'm going to share that with you. We were walking down this one street, and it was lined with these really tall walls that were just really rough in texture and old. And our guide was explaining that this is the road where Jesus walked when he carried his cross. And then he stopped us at a point on this rough textured wall where there was about a 10-inch diameter circle that was completely smooth, and it was indented several inches. And he explained that this is the spot where Jesus put his hand when he leaned on the wall to rest as he carried his cross. And the reason it's so smooth is because millions of people have traveled across the world to touch the hand of the Savior. And we were all like, wow, just like mesmerized by this story. And then he goes, I hate to break it to you, but there's no way that Jesus actually touched that spot. He was like, you know, the city has been quite built up in the thousands of years since then, and so if he would have touched that exact spot, he would have had to have been 15 to 20 feet tall. Then he continued and he said, but I don't think that makes it any less special. Because when you go and you touch that spot, you are touching the hands of millions of believers, millions of people who made a huge sacrifice to travel, to walk where Jesus walked, to touch his hand, to express their faith, to pray for something, a miracle, to have hope. You know, when you touch that spot, you are touching the faith of millions and the hearts of millions of people. And he was like, I think that is just as magical and spiritual, because that is the hands of Christ. And I loved that. I loved that so much, because I will say, in my adult life, I've realized that faith can sometimes be a very fragile thing. And I spent quite a bit of my adult life going back and forth between some of the things I believed in, being like, but is it true? Is it not true? Is this fact? Did this exactly happen? And finally, like, lessons like that taught me that, you know what? Maybe the most important thing is, do I feel closer to God when I'm here? Do I feel more love when I'm doing this? Does all of this make me feel like a better person? Does it bring me close to other people who are reaching out for the same thing? Does it give me opportunities to serve? Are the fruits of it good? And in a sense, when I do this, am I touching the hands of Christ? And if the answer is yes, then it means my faith is still in a good place. It means that everything I'm doing is worth it. And that we don't have to have all the answers, and that's kind of the beauty of faith. And so, as I play this next song for you, this is my faith. This song, in a way, represents the ups and downs of the journey of my faith. But also, I wrote this arrangement to represent the ups and downs of the life of the Savior. So if you're familiar with the story of Christ, you can follow along, and I think you'll be able to kind of see the different parts of his life, all the way from his birth to his resurrection. And if that story doesn't resonate with you, then I hope, most importantly, that you can feel my heart as I play O Holy Night. Thank you so much. You know, one of my favorite symbols that we all see a lot at Christmas time is angels. And angels have become really, really special to me. Probably, if I can say, it's probably my favorite little piece of my faith is my belief in angels. And that's because about 10 years ago, which I can't believe that it's been 10 years, my best friend passed away. And shortly thereafter, we lost my dad as well. And, you know, it's such a short time. Losing two of the most important people in my life was just shattering. And it really changed me. You know, and there was about 2 years after losing them that I was just so severely depressed. And I remember kind of coming to this conclusion that, like, I think that the rose-tinted glasses, really happy-go-lucky version of Lindsey, I was like, I guess that part of me died with them. And now it's my job to learn to love this new version of me. And that was like a really hard spot to be, you know, but I kept working on myself, kept going to therapy. And about two and a half years after their passing, it was very sudden, and it was suddenly like this little light clicked on inside of me again. And that joyous version of myself was back. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that a piece of me died, it's just that I was cracked for a while. I was just going through situational depression. And this has made me think about the phrase life after death. Because in spirituality and religion, you know, life after death means that we go somewhere after we die. However, we all go through really hard things where it feels like pieces of us break off or shatter or get broken, or possibly even pieces of us seem to die off. And this can be when it seems like a road has ended, or a dream is over, or the loss of a loved one, or the end of a relationship. You know, in so many ways, it feels like life can chip away at us sometimes. And I know that this year has been a particularly hard year for a lot of people. And so I just want to share with you my really strong belief and perspective that nothing is ever broken beyond repair. Nothing ever is dead to us in this life. And it really made me think that even in this life, we experience so many times life and joy and love and fullness after it feels like we've gone through a partial death. And one of the things that really helped me get through this time was my belief in angels. You know, I started to see little signs all over the place, signs that they weren't far, signs that they were looking out for me, little signs they still leave me to this day. I call them my little miracles, where it just reminds me that I'm on the right path. And so I want to play you guys a song that I wrote about finding fullness again in my life, but also it's a song I wrote about my angels. So this is called Serenity Found. see depends mainly on what we look for. In the same field, the farmer will notice the crop, the geologist the fossils, botanist the flowers, and artist the coloring. So with limitless perspectives, why not choose one of hope? Whether you call it light, angels, God, magic, or even luck, the more you look for the infinite, the more you'll realize it's all around you.
Christmas comes earlier and earlier every year, much to the chagrin of Hallows Eve. By mid-October, wreaths and tacky Santa Claus figurines are crowding the limited holiday aisles in department stores and the sacred shelves of Hobby Lobby. If Christmas can exist during Halloween, who's to say that Halloween can't exist in Christmas?
Excuse me, I apologize.
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa baby, a 54 convertible to light blue. All enough for you, dear Santa baby. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa baby, I wanna know everyone that's not. Been an angel for you, Santa baby. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa cutie, I fill my stocking with a duplex and checks. Selling her ex on the line, Santa cutie. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing. A ring I don't need on the phone, Santa baby. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa baby, I wanna know everyone that's not. Been an angel for you, Santa baby. Now hurry down the chimney tonight, tonight. Santa cutie, I fill my stocking with a duplex and checks. Selling your ex on the line, Santa cutie. Now hurry down the chimney tonight,
the Haynes sisters.
Sisters, there were never such devoted sisters. Never had to have a chaperone, no sir. I'm here to keep my eye on her, caring, sharing every little thing that we are wearing. When a certain gentleman arrived from Rome,
I don't know any more of this song.
wore the dress, and I sang
Plan C. We're going Plan C, everyone.
Lord help the miss.
Insurance is gonna kill me. You are not trained. Eric, we need to talk. Ow! What the? I just got bopped by my tour manager. Gosh. Really, Drew? Pelvic thrusting at a Christmas concert? Are there any children in the audience? Oh, wow, okay. Front and center, that's great. All right, well, don't worry, there is more to the show to help you forget that you saw that. Okay.
two of you, I'd take them.
Okay, Fort Worth, how you doing? Oh my gosh. Seriously, thank you so much for your energy tonight. You know, when I'm really having a lot of fun with an audience, sometimes I film videos with them. So how would you guys feel about being a part of one of my videos? Okay, so I'm gonna bring my dancers back on the stage. And can I get as much light on the audience as possible? I want to see all of you. There you go. Can we turn off those spotlights? Okay, so we had a song that we did quite a few times, like 2 years ago, and it became kind of a joke between us and the internet. It was this little dance to Sleigh Ride. So, yeah, if you guys want, I think you can join us on a little dance. So you can all stand up, and my dancer shall demonstrate. You put your hand out to the side and you're just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we can handle that. Then, this is where it gets complicated. With your other hand, you will have your phone with your flashlight on. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, should we do a ripple? A wave. We're gonna do the wave. How do you guys feel about doing the wave? Okay, so we have to be really good at counting to 8 though, okay? So it's 5, 6, 7, da, 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 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then whee! Drew, do you think in the mic you can count to 8 and then say wave? Yeah, come down here. All right, so let's practice that one more time with the music. We're gonna show you what it sounds like. Oh, we start in place. Right? Yeah. Oh, face that way. Yes, we are all unison. We are one, Fort Worth. Okay, so Drew is gonna count for you. You're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you say wave, and then you say party when it's time to party. So the wave is 1 earlier. That was a test. And we're gonna do it again. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wave! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Party! one-take wonder, since that was a user error on our part on part one. So anyways, congratulations. You have just been entered into the one-take wonder category of my shows. So, and now you guys all know how to be social media experts. You're welcome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. I mean, I know this is such a busy time of year. There's a million ways that you could have spent this evening, and I'm just so honored that you took the time, fought for parking, and spent your evening with us. Truly, this is my dream. This is my dream to entertain people and to make people smile. And you guys made it happen for me. But sometimes, like most people, I have anxiety, and sometimes I can get in the way of the thing I love the most. And there have been times when I go through these slumps where I become suddenly so overwhelmed by anxiety that I start going to stage every night in fear, with this overwhelming feeling that I'm not enough. And if I walk onto the stage in a place of fear, in that mindset, honestly, it doesn't matter what happens on the stage, it doesn't matter what happens in the audience or what kind of response I get. I leave the stage feeling like a failure if that's how I come on. And I've learned to see this pattern in myself, and years ago it got so bad that I was literally like locking the door to my dressing room after almost every show of that tour, and I would just cry because I was so sure that everybody was so disappointed that they came. And one day I had a call with my therapist, and she was just like, "Is this your dream?" And I was like, "Yes, this is absolutely what I've always wanted to do." And she said, "Well, it's too bad that you're missing it." And I think sometimes our greatest gifts scare us, and I think that sometimes they can become our greatest fears. And I started to see this pattern happening again, actually, in the beginning of this tour, and I was like, nope, I am not going to let this happen. I recognize the voices in my mind, the bad self-talk that we all have. I started to notice how strong it was getting, and I stopped it because I was like, you know what? The only thing I have to do when I walk on stage is to give a gift to the audience. I just have to go out there and share my heart and know that by giving a gift, like I'm never gonna actually know what's going on in all of your minds. I can make it up, but I'm never gonna actually know. It's something I can't control, but the one thing I can control is what I walk onto this stage with, what perspective I step out here with, and what I give to you. That I have control over. And that is my heart every night. It's my gift that I get to give. And I just want to let you know that it changes everything. The situation didn't change, my outward appearance, my world, the reality of the situation, nothing changed except for the way I viewed myself and the experience. And I'm telling you, the lens through which you view your life is everything. It all starts inside. And I also want to remind you that you all have a gift to give. By being yourself, by showing up fully in life, by walking into a room and not worrying about the energy coming at you and what people think, but rather thinking, I get to walk into this room and I get to give a gift to my family, to my friends, to this party, to this office, whatever it may be. And so with all of that, if there's one thing that you remember from tonight, aside from the fact that you all need a sparkly red bodysuit, but most importantly, I want you to remember that within you, you hold all the magic.
Presents wrapped in gifts they hide. The dreams are wrapped in boxes. Would we keep them locked inside? As a child I wished for endless joys. I believed my letters would turn into brand new toys. Life has made me wise, but here at Christmas time I catch a glimpse of light behind my childlike eyes. Who says there can't be magic
Thank you so much. Please give it up one more time for my dancers, everyone. Taylor Gagliano, Annalise Ritaka, Madeline Underwood, Annika Kojima. And one more time for our boys in the band, Drew and Ryan. All right, let's bring out my crew. Be extra loud for these guys. Woo! The people behind the scenes. And Andy and Sage on the back on sound and lights. Thank you, Fort Worth. Merry Christmas.
Yes,